thing that I want you to do is to get out a piece of paper. Go ahead and pause this video, go get your piece of paper, go get your pen, and then come back. I will wait. Okay, now that you've had your pen and paper, I want you to write down 5 names. And here are the qualifications for who gets on this list. These are 5 people that you communicate with the most on a day-to-day basis. Maybe it's a spouse or a neighbor, your sister, your best friend, maybe it's your coworker, someone that you've known since you were a child. The only caveat is that they have to be an adult. And then if you want to write one additional name, just sort of like an alternate, you could put on there someone that maybe you don't directly communicate with on a daily basis, but maybe it's someone whose life occupies your thoughts constantly. Maybe it's somebody that you worry about or someone that you pray for all the time. Maybe someone that you care for an awful lot, but may or may not have a direct relationship with them, but they consume a lot of your mental bandwidth. Okay. So now that you've got the 5 people listed on your piece of paper, I want you to ask the following questions and apply them to each of the people on the paper. Number 1, do these people inspire you with the way that they live their lives? Have they created a life or a lifestyle that you find very aspirational? It may not be every single aspect of their lives, but maybe they're that person with the amazing relationship, or maybe they are the person that has that awesome career, or maybe it's the home that they live in or the place that they live that you find super aspirational and you are inspired by them by the way that they live. Okay, that's question number 1. The second question is, do they hold you to a high standard? Do they elevate you and gas you up and pour belief into you? And do they tell you what your strengths are and fill you with the vision for what your life is and could be? Third question, and this one might be a little stickier, but are they honest with you even when it's hard for you to hear it? Are they willing to be honest with you even when they know what they have to say to you is going to be difficult for you to hear? Meaning, can they tell you the real truth? Do they have the guts and the courage and just the transparency to be honest with you all the time? Fourth question, do you feel unconditionally loved by this person and that the value that they place on you being in their life is equal to the value that you place on them being in yours? Meaning that you both consider yourselves to be the luckier in the relationship, that you're lucky to have one another. Do they love you unconditionally and that they value you in their lives as much as you value them being in yours? Is it equal? Those are the 4 questions times 5 people, so that's 20 answers total. And I hope that you really thought long and hard and applied each of those questions to each of the people on the list. Okay, so how did these people measure up to those value systems? Maybe a few didn't. Maybe you're one of the rare few people that got glowing remarks on all 5 people, and maybe you landed at a big fat 0, where you really took a good look at these relationships with the people that you spend an awful lot of time with and that just didn't measure up. Okay, I want you to flip your paper over. Now that you know the criteria, maybe for the few that you feel were not measuring up to that standard, can you think of 2 or 3 alternate people that you could add to the list that might meet that requirement? Or maybe however many you might need. Maybe it's 4 of the 5 that just didn't measure up. Maybe one of the lucky few that got all 5 people and you feel like you have really strong, healthy relationships with the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Okay, so you think of somebody that does gas you up every single day, who is eternally optimistic, who despite any challenges has a belief and a faith that everything is going to work out. And do they encourage and support you unconditionally? Do they tell you the hard things even though it's hard to hear with love? Okay, so now that you have 5 good, solid people, I'm here to remind you that we are all the sum total of the 5 people that we spend the most time with, thinking about, or actually being about with. So it's very important that we evaluate and audit who we really let into that circle. So I think it's a good thing every once in a while to really step back, make your list, apply the questions to those people, hold them to an account, and see if the people that you have in your life actively measure up to what you want in terms of the relationships in your life. Now, this is the last part of the exercise. I need you to do the hardest thing of all now. We're going to flip the script. I want you to look in the mirror and ask yourselves, are we that which we want from our friends and family? Are you positive and optimistic and inspiring, and you lead a life that's inspiring to the people around you? Do you hold other people to a high standard, not because you're judging them, but because you live a life by example and your deeds speak for themselves? Does your life provide aspirational value to the people around you? And are you willing to have the tough conversations with the people that you love the most, even when it's the hardest thing for them to hear? How are you showing up for the people in your life? Are you one of the people that makes the 5 for somebody else? So, you know the old saying, what you think about, you bring about. And so I guarantee that this starts with you. And you can't look at your list and be like, man, I'm a 0 out of 5 in terms of the people that I spend the most time with. That starts with you. You get to choose who you let in. You get to choose the criteria. You get to set the example, and what you think about, you bring about. When you elevate and raise your vibe and you start living that aspirational life, that life of transparency and honesty and authenticity, the people that are around you are going to show up in much the same way. When you raise your vibration, you invite others to do the same, and more people that match that energy will come into your life. And so I guarantee you that this starts a chain reaction. Maybe it will impact how they start showing up, and your attitude when you open your eyes every morning will change. So if you don't start to believe in yourself and how you hold yourself to a high standard, it's never going to happen for the other people that are around your life, and you will never attract more than what you're putting out. And it really, truly does start and end with you. I hope you love this exercise, and I will see you soon. My name is Katie Martin.